Hello and welcome back to another video. My name is Pyro Primer and today I want to introduce you to a new series that just started in Shonen Jump a few weeks ago. Its name is Ginka&Glüna. The author's name is Shinpei Watanabe and it appears that this is actually their first own project, at least with this pen name, because I couldn't find anything else that they created. So maybe I can find out a bit more about their past if the series survives long enough. First of all, let us read a summary given by the Manga Plus website before we come to my own thoughts on the first chapter. And let me also reveal to you the cover of this manga. Here it is. So, the summary is as follows. This story begins deep on a snowy mountain. Glüna lives alone until the day she meets a mysterious snowman named Ginka. In order to see the outside world, Glüna is determined to learn magic from Ginka and leave the mountains. As long as we're together, nothing is impossible. Where will the fun adventure take them? Now begins a magical and fantastical journey like you've never seen before. Okay, now first impressions of the summary, so everything here is spoiler free. The spoiler part will come later in the video. That was a wild ride in my opinion. At first it was just a girl living alone on a mountain, seems pretty normal to me. Then some sort of magical snowman appeared and now that girl wants to learn magic to leave her home? I gotta say this premise sounds pretty basic. We've heard stories of like this girl or this boy living somewhere far away from every other human and then they get their magical teacher and somehow they go on this adventure. Like, you're probably thinking of at least 2 or 3 different series in your head right now that have a similar premise like this. But that doesn't mean that it will be bad. Depending on the world building and future plans, this could become a story similar to like Fairy Tail or Black Clover. Who knows what the wildlife in the snowy mountains is like, what mysteries the magical snowman brings with them, and how Glüna's magic will influence the world. The name Glüna makes me believe that she might learn fire magic, even if her teacher is a snowman. In German, the word Glut means, or like, Glut basically means ember, which would be interesting to see how a fire mage manages on a snow mountain with a snowman as their teacher. But staying in German, the word Glüh means glow, so maybe she will also learn some form of light magic. There are many possibilities, seeing as Glüna's goal is to leave the mountains. For me personally, it is kind of unsure if the entire manga will take place in the mountains, or if that's just the first arc of the story. Well, that's enough said for my first thoughts. Now that my own ideas are out there, let me actually read the first chapter of Ginka&Glüna to see what it is all about, and if it is here to stay on the Manga Plus app and in Shonen Jump. Because we all know that the person with the X might come. Okay, the chapter has now been downloaded into my brain. From here on out I will talk about what happened in the first chapter. So if you want to read it yourself first, I put the link to the manga in the description. But if you have already read it or don't mind a few spoilers here and there, let us get right into it. These are my first thoughts of the first chapter of the new manga Ginka&Glüna. First of all, the manga shows high-tier artwork. Panels are nice to look at and nothing is done in a way that would confuse the reader, at least for me, who might be used to the manga paneling. But it looks very nice. Obviously there are cases of manga having like beautiful panels and artworks in the first chapters, maybe even the first few chapters, because that is the part where they need to grab the attention of people. And later on the style or the, well, for many manga the style changes later on. That's seen in stuff like Bleach, Black Clover, Fairy Tail, One Piece even. But nowadays you need to impress 24/7. So if this stays the quality of artwork like for the entire run of this manga, that is going to be impressive. Now, it is just an easy and enjoyable read. However, that doesn't mean that the story isn't interesting to me. My brain has already started theorizing and can't wait for the future of the series, because there are a lot of things that we can discover in this world. Glüna is a classic shonen protagonist, besides the fact she is female, which is still a rarity in the shonen world I think. We don't have that many female protagonists. But she lives by herself in an area where apparently no other human lives. She has a dead mother, and her father is someone she has never met before. I think we all know where this plot thread might lead. According to the narrator, Gluna's mother died because of an epidemic, but who knows, they might be lying. This wouldn't be the first time the narrator of a story actually lied, because we don't know who the narrator is. The narrator, for this example, could be Glüna herself, and because she herself believes that her mother is dead, that's just how we get told it as well. But let's continue on here. I also need to tell you that all animals on the Snow Mountains can talk. However, we can only actually see Glüna talk with these animals once she has learned magic. So I'm not sure if she needed magic to talk with the animals, or if it's a normal thing for humans to do in this world, like to communicate with animals. But now let us introduce a game changer to the entire manga. It is the magic teacher. Everybody wants Ginka the snowman. This dude is such a chat that he just skips over his entire own backstory, because it would be too long. Like, it would be his own manga apparently. I hope we learn more about him, like over the different chapters or of the series, because his past seems very interesting, because Ginka used to be a very powerful magician until he got sealed into this body of like a snowman, and even now he is still pretty much almighty in my opinion as far as we have seen so far. So because Ginka is the actual plot of the story, I don't know to which series I can compare this magic system, but it seems like the magic in the story can basically do anything. And if I say anything, I actually mean anything. They can create any form of element, can move an entire block of water out of a lake and the lake's water doesn't fill in the hole. Heck, it even can create an entire forest. One trusty animal, let's call him Mr. Moose, showed Luna a place in which magic changed the rules of the world. Quite convenient how such a place with an incredible magic feat is just a few meters away from Luna's home. In this world, magic is called an ancient lost science, so it will be interesting to see how many magicians actually still are in the outside world, and how many we will meet in the story. Because there have to be some magicians, there has to be an opponent for Luna, or however the story might develop in the future chapters. So maybe they have a modernized version of magic that is just not as powerful as this ancient magic. Similar to how in Fairy Tail we have the ancient lost magic in the Dragon Slayer magic and then the normal magic, but Dragon Slayer magic is just more powerful. Something else you might have noticed just now, I changed the way I said the name of our protagonist, because she is not Glüna, but she is Luna, because the G is apparently silent. Why is it there? I don't know, maybe it's like the D in the names of the One Piece characters. From here we have a 5-year time skip already. Not showing any of the training, we just learned that Luna apparently is a genius. She learns way faster than other people and she has high talent for magic. But what now? We reach the point of the first chapter where a twist in the story appears. Ginka the snowman has not always been a snowman, I said that before. Ginka used to be a man, a normal man, not with the snow parts. And that reveals the actual goal of the story. Leaving the snowy mountains is just the first step, something we achieve in the first chapter basically. Because as a team, they now need to find a way to return Ginka to his human body. Together it seems that Ginka and Luna are actually unstoppable, well at least in chapter 1. And what hell of a chapter 1 it was. The author did almost everything right, because they got me interested in thinking about the story. Now there are many questions I want to put out in the world. Feel free to tell me your thoughts as well in the comments, or maybe you want to answer some of my questions. Now let's get into the question section of the video. What do you think? Is Luna's mother actually dead? Or will we meet her sometime in the future? In my opinion, it would be a really interesting twist if Ginka is actually the person that killed Luna's mother. Traveling with the evil guy, learning from him, growing closer to him, only to learn later on that he is the murderer of your own mother. Wow, that could be pretty dark. Something more lighthearted in a different direction would be if Ginka is actually Luna's missing father, because we don't know what her father is. We have no clue about who he is, where he is, what he was, or what he's doing. So Ginka either didn't recognize his daughter, or he himself just didn't want to say like, I am your father. He just stayed with her because he taught her how to use magic. He taught her how to protect herself and all of these different things. Because he wants Luna to see the world and travel around. But that might just be my opinion, because the twist of being the murderer of her mother or her father would both be interesting, but both would be entirely different stories. The idea of Ginka the snowman being the missing father basically came to me because of the Dressrosa arc from One Piece. I am a One Piece YouTuber mainly, I guess, so I'm always thinking about that story. Instead of being turned into a toy, the father of this story got turned into a snowman. So one theory turns the story very dark and another would make it a very heartwarming tale. I am up for either of these, and even if the author decides to go a different path, I think Ginka's actual origin should be connected to Luna because that would make the most sense out of anything here. For me, the series shows great potential, at least from what I can theorize to happen in future chapters and arcs. It is a bit sad though that they skipped over 5 years worth of training, but I can understand why the decision was made. When a new story starts, they first need to prove themselves to be allowed to make training arcs. Even big stories still skip over training arcs. There are like time skips for training, there are just not showing it on screen and going to other characters that are doing more interesting things at the moment. But that's all because nowadays people just don't have the same attention span. Their attention span is basically worse than that of a goldfish. And they also get bored quite easily. And let's be honest here, if the first few arcs were just Luna living in the mountains learning magic, it would probably not last long enough. It would disappear from Shonen Jump. Personally, I wouldn't have minded such an arc or multiple arcs, even if that would have been the entire story in my opinion. I think it could have been quite enjoyable. The snowy mountains are really interesting. Like, why did Luna's family even live there? After all, it seemed that there are no other humans up there in the snowy mountains, only Luna. So, what's going on there? And the fauna and flora of that region. The entire geography was very interesting. Please, one day let us return to the snowy mountains and explore what is actually going on there, why it's left alone and what secrets it holds. Like, there is still this magic cave that like has changed rules of the reality. I just want to know more about that place and like the battle that Ginka had in that cave in the past. So many questions, and who knows if they will ever be answered. Or if this mangaka will even be allowed to fully flesh out this already magical world. I will continue to follow this story and maybe make future videos about it if big things happen. But for now, all that's left to say is my name is Pyro Primer. If you enjoy these types of videos, why don't you consider clicking on the subscribe button to guarantee future happiness? And well, the last thing for me to say is see you in the next video. Bye!